Well, hello, folks. We're back. It's another Wednesday, and we are going to be ranking yet another puzzle game for the Game Boy. We have a list of 75 games, all the way with Godzilla down here at the bottom, and Tetris all the way at the top, plus two separate iterations of Mario's Picross. And today we're playing an interesting one. As you can see in the corner, it says we're playing BreakThru. This is a game that featured, Tetris creator Alexei I'm going to butcher that name, I'm sorry. Alexei Pajitnov on the front cover. He was sort of an endorsee. I don't think he had anything to do with the game design per se, but, get the Tetris guy to co-sign on your puzzle game. It's a hell of an endorsement. And all that being said, I don't really know where this is going to land. This is going to be an interesting one. So let's not waste any more time, and let's just hop right on over to a big green blank screen. Oh, wait, there it is. Okay. From the Zoo Corporation, apparently. Time Associates. I think the audio seems to be, I assume, is kind of a sweet spot here. I can't hear it very well myself, but, we're just gonna avoid thinking about the potential crosstalk. We're still in between audio solutions at the moment, but anyway, if we look over here in our options, one player, two, it's apparently co-op, competitive, and dual. Competitive and dual are two different settings, easy, medium, hard, child. We'll leave that. I'm gonna leave everything on default for now. Okay, yeah. It's BreakThru. If you never played this, it's kind of similar to Samigame, which we already played, or like Super Collapse, which we have not played because I don't think there's a Game Boy version of that. There's a Game Boy Advance version of it, but anyway. So you can't clear single tiles. There needs to be at least two next to each other. Cursor's a little sluggish, I will say. But again, this would normally be a color matching game. But of course, Game Boy, monochrome screen. This is adequately readable though. You can play this, if you want to. I'm not your dad. Oh, wait, no. Okay, if I hold the B button, then these things up at the top move side to side. Yeah, so more tiles are dropping in to kind of make up for this, because eventually there's going to be no moves left. Such as right now. Put that there. Okay, then hold B and press down. You can make it drop right away. Okay, if two bombs come in contact with each other, that's a... Okay, hold B and push up, and we can slide the stack over. And that's stage one. Now we have a few more variety of tiles here. This is still readable, arguably slightly less. Okay, I'm assuming that's like a wild card tile, so we can... Oh. Oh, that did a thing, actually. Oh, okay, okay. The music's a little underwhelming. Pause. Okay. Something appears to have happened when I pressed the select button, but I think it's a coincidence. Yeah, so we can sort of choose whether these things slide to the left or the right. That's... Okay, the bombs explode as soon as they collide. There's icons on the side of the screen that are kind of confusing me. I don't know what they're for. So we're getting another one of those wild cards. I don't know if I want to use that right away. What does this thing do? That, apparently. Okay. Okay, that ending there, that was a little ridiculous. Alright, level complete, so... Alright, now we're in London. What's this thing do? I don't really know what the fail state is here, if there even is any. I think it's... I think that... Well, it looks like there's a time limit, so I guess that's it? They're just making damn sure those things don't come in contact with each other. Alrighty. Yeah, this is kind of what I figured would eventually happen. I can bring this a little closer to here. And they are just not giving me the tile that I need. Oh, wait, no, now they are. I guess so much for finding out whatever those things did. Oh, these things don't detonate bombs. Okay. Oh, we get one of these things now. That didn't help as much as I was hoping. There is something about the way games like this sometimes act like you're in enough control of what's going on that when the timer runs out, there's like something you can do about it. And it can be hard to tell if that's just, you know, kind of not really communicating, or if they just like genuinely didn't know what kind of game they were making. Because there's a fair amount of luck dependency going on here. I still want to get those things that look like canisters to touch one another. No, wait, no, if we put this here... There. I still don't know what those do. Okay. And the game's suddenly not giving us a bomb. Okay. I have no idea what those things do. I matched them. I clicked on them. I blew them up. None of it seems to have done anything. that's handy. Yeah, that one worked out real well. Okay. Okay, this is starting to get a little bit ridiculous. It's not a complicated game. But I do have to admit, I don't really feel like I'm winning through the use of skill. Just kind of feels like stuff happens, and if you poke at it long enough, you can eventually just kind of coax a win out of it. Itchy nose. I guess this is supposed to be San Francisco, maybe? I see a cable car. I don't see a cable, but I do see a cable car. I don't know if there's a way to not waste those. It did a lot of sense. I'm not really sure how strategic the game expects you to be with any of this. Lining up those drops is also... Oh, no, well, that one dropped on its own. So I'm guessing those canister-looking things are just meant to get in the way and need to be destroyed? The only thing that makes sense to me. Yeah, this isn't really getting either harder or easier, to be honest. It just kind of keeps going. There's nothing wrong with this game. It's just a little underwhelming. It looks like the tiles do stop dropping once you clear them off the board. That's good. I can pause, but I can't quit. Oh, yeah, I'm just gonna reset this. Okay, if we set this to hard, what's the... Okay. No, it's just kind of messier right from the jump. Now, what if we set this to child? Well, technically speaking, this is easier, I guess? Oh, if you're gonna literally name your difficulty mode child, I gotta feel like it's at least somewhat reasonable to have just a mode that removes all challenge entirely. I guess to some degree I'm expecting child difficulty to be like preschooler difficulty, which this isn't that, so fair enough, I guess. Maybe the difference in Child is that it just doesn't ramp up as much. That seems to be the case. Yeah, this does seem to be about the same difficulty as the first stage. I think that's what Child difficulty refers to. I was kind of expecting it to turn the game into just, you know, brainless little time waster. I don't know if that would have actually been an improvement or not. Would have worked if I'd hit the button sooner. And the fact that the stages seem to end with you kind of raining bombs on everything is both amusing, but also kind of a sign of a bigger problem. I guess I'll do one more and then call it. Ooh, looks like color got a little blown out there on the old webcam. Don't know when that happened. Oop, I meant this one. Okay. So, right out the gate, this game is kind of doing the same thing as Samegami, but not as good. Like I said, the fact that every stage seems to end with just raining bombs, that to me suggests something wasn't working. That they were adding mechanics to try and offset something else that wasn't working. Now, I'm not a game developer, I don't know. But just, that's how it reads to me. And so, whether this game is good or bad, it is absolutely not. This right here, at number 9 on our list, it kind of remains sort of the standard for this style of game. And if there were a version of Super Collapse for the Game Boy, there isn't. I looked. If there was, it would be a contender. But as it stands, this is adequate. There are no serious as much as, like I just said, there's a problem. It's not a serious problem. There's no serious problems with this game. It's just underwhelming. And I have to say, underwhelming is better than I was expecting. I was expecting something a little more actively unpleasant. The cursor, when you move it around, the cursor's a little sluggish. The controls are a little odd, just for, a game of this type. There does seem to be some stuff happening under the hood. There were several multiplayer modes that we didn't get to try, and I honestly don't have particularly high hopes for them being especially great, but they're there. It's a lot more readable than I was expecting. That's a point in its favor, Again, these old Game Boy games, you really never know. Let's see, where's Pack Attack? I don't think this game is as good as Pack Attack. But there is a similar feeling in the sense that you've kind of seen what there is in about a half hour. Now, Pack Attack, I will eventually become interested in playing that again, and I'll have a good time with it, and then I'll get bored with it again and put it aside and all that. But that is another game where there is a simple premise that is then made complicated by additional mechanics that, you know, are trying to offset the game in some way. But yeah, this isn't as good as Pack Attack. It is better than Wild Snake. So that puts us in a pretty big space here for now. Better than Minesweeper, Nail and Scale, Ishido, Wordtris, Brain Drain, not to be confused with Brain Bender. It's more playable than Klax and Tesserae and Amida. Then we get to these games here. So like your Puyo Puyo, your Adventures of Lolo, your Gearworks. I think this game is considerably more intuitive. No, wrong word. Well, I guess that does apply to Gearworks. But what I mean is, like, it doesn't have the problems that these games have. Or these versions of these games, or these games. But it doesn't, it's just not engaging. You could almost make a case for it if it was just like a dumb little time waster. But I don't think it does a great job at that either. It's not as good as Hatris or Lemmings 2. And now, weirdly enough, now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking about it, I would put this above Loops, but I would also put it below the Humans. But again, that's an apples and oranges situation. And again, it's more playable than Stop That Roach. Yeah, I think that's going to have to be the word on this. It is, yeah, even when you talk about Lemmings, that's a tricky one. Well, no, yeah, this is, it's more playable than Loops. So congratulations, BreakThru. You are our new number 41. And that's gonna be me for this evening. I will be back tomorrow night with some live improvised music. I'll be back on Saturday night with music production. Those streams are not going to have any audio problems because that's pretty much already solved. And hopefully we'll have audio solved on Monday when we come back to do more retro games. So until then, thanks for coming by and hanging out and watching. And as always, I do hope to see you next time. Excuse me. And bye for now.